Have you spent years loving, understanding, and showing up for others while quietly abandoning yourself? Welcome to Love Me Unconditionally, your self-love masterclass. I'm Michelle S. Fondin, author of Love Me Unconditionally, a spiritual guide to self-love and inner peace, and its companion workbook. This show is here to help you build the most important relationship of your life, the relationship you have with yourself. In Season 1, we're exploring the 14 traits of unconditional self-love so you can stop chasing love outside of yourself and begin coming home to your own worth, peace, and inner wholeness. Let's begin. Welcome back to Love Me Unconditionally, your self-love masterclass. Today we're on the fourth trait of unconditional self-love. I embrace all of myself, the light and the shadow. We are starting to dig really deeply into what it truly means to love yourself unconditionally. Before we get started, let's do our self-love check-in. Get comfortable and tune into yourself. The first question, this self-love check-in, is how am I feeling right now? Remember, all feelings are completely acceptable, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that right now after this check-in. All feelings are acceptable. It's what you do with them that makes a difference. But feel what you are feeling right now. The second question is, what do I need? And it could be anything. And if there is something you need right now, go ahead and pause this video, take care of that need, and come back to it. And the third question is, what do I desire? What is my deepest driving desire? What do I want? Remember, you do not come last on your to-do list. You need to come first so that you can better serve others. What do you want? What do you desire? Write it down, note it in your mind, and let's get started. For many years, I was really able to embrace the light in me. I was able to embrace my gifts, my talents, my good feelings, my joy, my optimism. I am a Sagittarius after all, but I was really able to turn things around. So if I wasn't feeling really great, I was able to quickly overcome it with an optimistic attitude, with looking on the bright side of things. But what I realized not so very long ago is that while I had the ability to be optimistic and bright and sunny, I was suppressing my feelings that I did not deem as acceptable. Now, this is called spiritual bypassing, which I do speak about in the book, Love Me Unconditionally. What that means is somewhere, somehow, as you were growing up, you learned that having negative feelings or having feelings that were less than authentic, honest, true, or joyous were not acceptable. So you learned to suppress them. This could have been through parental upbringing, through your education, through society, through religion. And it became, without a doubt, a coping mechanism to ignore the negative feelings or your negative traits and to focus more on the positive feelings and your positive traits. Now, there is no shame and there's nothing wrong with focusing on the positive, but that which you suppress gets expressed, right? That which you suppress gets expressed. because it will grow bigger, fatter, wider, louder than ever before. And a prime example of this is with the disease of addiction. Now, I wrote a book back in 2016 based on personal experience, but also based on 10 alcoholics in long-term recovery that I interviewed for the book. Their stories are all throughout the book. That book is called Help, I Think My Loved One is an Alcoholic, a survival guide for lovers, family, and friends. And the prime example of liking the light but ignoring the shadow part of you is the shame of addiction. Addiction wears a shroud of shame. Even today in 2026, people are ashamed. They shy away from even talking about the disease of alcoholism, drug addiction, maybe gambling or sex addiction, or a food addiction. People shy away from owning it. People shy away from talking about it. And that pushes it further into the shadows, which distorts it and it exacerbates it. And it makes it get louder and louder and louder. And in fact, alcoholics or drug addicts are the ones who feel the most isolated and alone, even when they are surrounded by their drinking and drugging buddies. They feel so alone, so desperate, and they really hate themselves, even if they come off as loving themselves. That's because they ignore the shadow side. They push it down because it feels shameful, because nobody wants to talk about it, because people, themselves included, reason it away for other reasons, often casting blame on other situations, circumstances, and people. So that is a primary example of trying to embrace a little bit of the light side while really suppressing the dark or shadows side. Now, we all have light and shadow. Every single one of us has light and shadow. So what does this mean, really? You might not be an addict. You might not even be a person who has a lot of demons that they're battling with. But everyone deals with self-doubt at some point, maybe self-sabotage or judgments in which they feel ashamed about, they don't feel okay with, or personality traits that you'd rather ignore, right? Every single person deals with something that they don't want to see. And again, something that is suppressed, brushed under the rug, gets expressed in some way, shape, or form, even if you don't want it to. So what is the solution to that? The solution is to take a look at those suppressed emotions. The idea is to take a look at those traits and love them into the light rather than trying to push them away, ignore them, brush them under the rug, pretend that they aren't there, or have a whole lot of shame around that. It's only when you accept every single aspect of who you are, it's only when you love even the imperfections in who you are, that you can become whole, that you can love yourself unconditionally. Now, I know this may be difficult if you have had a habit of ignoring your negative traits or hoping that they'll just go away somehow. Again, the best way is to love them into the light, to give yourself grace that you are human. Yes, you're a spiritual being having a human experience, but you are also fully human. And as being a human, you have a full spectrum of everything that life has to offer. And things constantly change, and you will always have new challenges. You might always have some sort of personality trait that comes out that you're not particularly proud of. But the more you suppress it, again, the more it's going to grow. So embracing everything that you are doesn't mean that you don't want to change it. And I said this in the last video too. It doesn't mean you won't want to eventually change it or grow or learn or transcend. What it does mean is that you are no longer going to push those aspects of you, including negative feelings. You're not going to cast them aside. You're not going to cast them away. You're not going to hold them at an arm's length with shame, because shame is one of the lowest vibrational frequencies that exists. And you can't possibly bring something into the light if it sits in shame. So while you may not be proud of certain things in your life, traits, habits, feelings, judgments, or your past, know that when you learn to give yourself grace, forgive yourself, accept yourself, and loving those parts, even in the imperfection, you are more likely to help make yourself whole and love yourself unconditionally. So as you move through your week, this week, I'd like you to think about that. Every time there is something in you that is holding resistance to something you deem as negative or undesirable, I would invite you to take a look at it. Even write it down, right? Sometimes writing it down just gets it out of your head. Write it down. Take a look at it. Tell that part of you that is ailing, tell that part of you that doesn't feel aligned with who you are today, tell that part of you that it is okay, that you will help it see the light. Give it understanding, give it grace, and you will see how each part of your shadow energy will transform into the light every time you're able to do this. Give it grace, give it love. I love you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. Share this with somebody else who could use this message about embracing the light and the shadow. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Love Me Unconditionally, your self-love masterclass. Before you go, take a moment to reflect. How does this trait show up in my life right now? Where am I already practicing it? And where am I being invited to love myself more deeply? If this teaching resonated with you, you can explore the full self-love journey in my book, Love Me Unconditionally, a spiritual guide to self-love and inner peace, and the companion workbook. You can find them at lovemeunconditionally.com. And if you'd like to continue this 14-week journey with me, subscribe, click the bell, and join me for the next trait of unconditional self-love. Much love to you, and I'll see you in the next video.